وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم والرب زدني علما. قال الإمام النووي رحمه الله تبارك وتعالى ونفعنا بعلمه في الدارين آمين. قال باب بر الوالدين وصلة الأرحام. قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم. وقال تعالى واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام. وقال تعالى والذين يصلون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل. وقال تعالى وصينا الإنسان بوالديه حسنا. وقال تعالى وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه بالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنحرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. وقال تعالى وصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك. Allahu Akbar. So here Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala continues with the discourse on connections with the creation. So after mentioning the connections and the kindness that should be observed and displayed towards one's neighbors, here one's even closer relationship, the kindness and goodness that one should observe and exercise towards one's parents, and silatul arham and connecting and connective practices and goodness and kindness, which brings about connection of relatives and relations, blood relations. And in that context, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Establish your servitude and subservience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. And don't join any partners along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't attribute any partnership to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way, shape or form. شَيْئًا. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Then interestingly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the next injunction or the next order is وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And towards the parents, goodness and kindness should be displayed, in other words. So interestingly, it's not only one, but in several places. The order of Tawheed being the primary order of Deen, and just after the order of Tawheed, then kindness to the parents. وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. And then, as we've mentioned earlier, probably several occasions, the closer and closer, the closer one is, the more rights that relationship has. And of course, the closest relations are the parents. And thereafter, وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, and other relationships. The closer they are, the more rights they would be having, as we mentioned earlier. وَالْيَتَامَى, the orphans. Masakeen, the poor, the deprived, people who are less fortunate. وَجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ. And this was mentioned in the earlier chapter as well, the neighbor which is perhaps closest, and then the neighbor which is a bit more distant, or the neighbor which is also a blood relationship, and also the neighbors who may not have that relationship. وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ. And the companion, the colleague, the person that you are together with in some affair or another. It might be a colleague at work, it might be on a journey, etc., as we mentioned earlier also. وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. And the wayfarers, the travelers. وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. And what your hands possess. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامِ. And fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, exercise taqwa towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whom in His name you ask of one another. And you conduct your affairs by Allah, and oaths and covenants are sworn by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taking oaths and covenants and asking one another for whatever in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So fear that one in whose name you ask one another. Wal arham, and also fear arham, fear the relationships. But what does that mean? Not fear the relationship itself, but fear concerning the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are connected and concerning those relationships. وقال تعالى والذين يصلون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل. And this is in the context of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praising those people as opposed to those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blames or detests. He loves and He praises those people that have various qualities. And among those qualities are they connect what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered to be connected. And one of the greatest orders of connection and connectivity is to connect with one's parents and one's relations. Inshallah, the other ayats we'll discuss inshallah tomorrow or day after tomorrow inshallah, or in our next session of this book. Tomorrow there will be the tafsir of Shaykh Farhan, and then on Thursday we'll be having sirah as usual inshallah. On Friday inshallah. Subhanaka wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.